Hello and welcome for episode 4 of our fake bake series. First of all, you're going to be needing some fake strawberries from Hobby Lobby, and I went ahead and picked up this Mod Podge and black paint from Dollar Tree. You're just going to put a little bit of Mod Podge and a little bit of paint and mix them super well together. And then we're going to go ahead and pick up our fake strawberries, and we're going to just go ahead and start dipping them like we would an actual chocolate covered strawberry. And this is super easy. Just going to grab the little leaves, twist them in your hand, and then start coating this all around. You can go as high as you want or as low as you want, and you can also mix different colors. I just went ahead with black. Now I'm just gonna set them aside to dry, and once they've dried, I'm gonna go ahead and start using my puffy paint that I picked up from Walmart to go ahead and start doing my drizzle. So here's gonna be super easy because it has a flat tip, so you're just gonna want to make pressure onto your puffy paint and squeeze and do quick lines back and forth so you can get this outcome. And now I'm going to be using my white puffy paint to make my spider webs. So the way I make mine is I start with the cross, and then I do little lines in between each quadrant. And then after you do each line, then you're going to go ahead and start doing little like small U's in between each line to make the spider web effect. If you do any DIY from this whole video, I recommend these strawberries because they're super fun, because they do not get rotten like real strawberries, and you can do any design you want. Now for this last strawberry, I went ahead and picked up these bat erasers from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna go ahead and glue them right on. Okay, now that they're about to be dry, I'm gonna go ahead and put them onto my little tray, and this is how they look. I think they look super cute, and they look so real, like if they were actual chocolate covered strawberries that you could actually eat. Now on to our next DIY. You're gonna need this air dry clay, and I went ahead and picked up this mold from Michaels. I like it because it looks really realistic to real human fingers. And here I'm gonna do different sizes of fingers. So all you're gonna do is just roll out the clay, flatten it out, really press it down to make sure those indents go onto the clay. Okay, now that they've completely dried, they pop out super easily from our mold, and look how beautiful they came out. I do recommend using this clay with silicone mold because the clay doesn't stick once you let it completely dry. Now I'm going to be using this brown paint to go ahead and paint my fingers. I wanted these to look as realistic as possible because my theme on my table is witch, and she can use these human fingers in her witch's brew. This is going to be the most easiest DIY of this whole video. And this mold could also be used to make witches' fingers. You can just make like a thinner nail at the top and paint them green to look really witchy. Okay, now if they've dried, I went ahead and picked up both of these containers from Dollar Tree, and I just stuffed them with black tissue paper. And I'm gonna go ahead and start placing my fingers inside, but I was not sure which ones the fingers look best in. So here you guys see me put them in the orange, but then I switch them out for the white pumpkin because I feel like they look more creepy. And this is how they look. Let me know in the comments which container you would have picked, orange or the clear one. And this is how it looks on my table in my little setup here. The next DIY, I'm using this Christmas mold, but I'm gonna be using only the candy side of this. And so here I'm just gonna be rolling out my clay, and I'm gonna go ahead and start indenting it in there really nice and deep to make sure we get the little crevices. And here I did not record this, but it's my regular clay, and I just went ahead and added purple and black paint to it to give it this type of color. I just rolled it into a ball and then flattened it to create this little disc because it's gonna be our little mini donuts. And now here I'm just using something that has a small circle to go ahead and puncture a hole into my donut. Once I make the hole, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my finger to flatten out the clay to give it a more circular, smoothing looking effect. And for these, if you don't want to make mini donuts, you can easily make these like those gummy rings. You can just cover these in Mod Podge and then use some sanding glitter, and that could totally match with any other candy theme. And if you found this video because you watched episode 1, 2, or 3 of my fake bake series, let me know in the comments. And this is how they look. I'm going to set them aside to dry. Now I'm going to be using my same puffy paints in orange, white, and black to go ahead and start decorating my candies. And now here you're just going to be seeing me put puffy paint in between each line. And then once I do each line, I'm going to go ahead and let it dry so we can go ahead and start the outer layer. And these were super fun to make. You can even, after they're dry, you can go ahead and put Mod Podge and then put some of that sanding glitter on top. I'm going to set these aside to dry, and I'm going to go ahead and start my donuts. So I'm going to be using my same puffy paint, and I'm just going to be doing a small little drizzle effect like if you were dipping an actual donut. You can really do any design your mind thinks of. Fun fact, I used to work in a bakery, and I was in charge of decorating the cookies and the donuts and cupcakes. So doing these fake bakes to me is super new and fun because we can create realistic things on these fake items. And the best thing about fake items is that they can sit on our table the whole season and they won't get rotten or anything like that. And these are not hard to make at all. Here I'm just using a toothpick to go ahead and define my little details. If you wanted to give these as gifts, you can as well. Just go ahead and go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or even Walmart and pick up those little pretzel clear bags that they sell in the baking sections. And you can just put them in there and use that zip tie to close it up, and then you have a cute little gift to give to someone. The ghost you see next to the donuts, I did show how to make these in episode 1. I'll leave those videos linked below. This is the last DIY of this video. I went ahead and picked up this dollhouse from Dollar Tree. I went with this specific one because the purple and green already matched my table theme. And now here I'm just going to be painting it brown because I wanted this to be like a frosted gingerbread house, like in Hansel and Gretel. So my little witch that's on the table can go in there and do her like little witch's brews and stuff. So all I did here was just paint the pink part brown. I also removed the little windows and the door. And once I'm done, I'm just going to set it aside to dry. And now here I'm using a mini can of spackle that I picked up from Walmart. And all I'm going to do is empty out my whole container into a bowl. And this is going to be acting as my buttercream on my gingerbread house. And I'm just going to add a few drops of black paint to darken it because I'm going to frost some black edges. And here you can also add a little bit of modeling paste. I heard that makes this a lot more easier to pipe. I'm using the Wilton Tip 18 to go ahead and pipe my borders onto my fake Halloween cake. Gotta worry about adding too much black paint because if you add too much paint, it will make this thing watery. And this will darken up more as it dries, as you're going to see towards the end of the video. So here I'm just going to be using light pressure on my bag, and I'm going to go ahead and start piping my border. And I'm not being perfect with this because it is a witch house and it's supposed to be really creepy. Here I'm just going to fast forward you guys so you can see me pipe my border all around the edges of my roof. And doing this was super extremely fun. I highly recommend you go buy some type of kind of fake dollhouse or a birdhouse or something and recreating this into a cute gingerbread home cake because the possibilities of decorating this are endless. And if you're a cake decorator and you're like me that you like making cakes but you hate making buttercream or you hate the cleanup afterwards, then I highly recommend this to you because it really does help our itch that we get to decorate cakes. And this is way easier to clean and way easier to make this fake frosting. And the best part, we get to watch our creations all the time because no one's going to eat them and they're not going to get rotten on us. Have you all tried making fake bakes before? If you have, what have you tried? I would like to know in the comments. And if you're a cake decorator who has also tried this fake cakes, let me know what you thought. Okay, now that I'm about to be done, I let it dry and I went ahead and added my two pieces back together. And as you can see here, the black did get darker. And now for all the windows, I am going to go ahead and paint them all green. And once they dry, I'm going to go ahead and just pop them right back into my house, as you see here. Now here I'm just going to hot glue a small little pumpkin peely that I made. And I went ahead and picked up this big pumpkin picks from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut it right in half to go ahead and glue it right into the front of my home. Once I have glue it there, I'm just going to press it down to make sure it sticks. Then I'm going to go ahead and start hot gluing one of the cookies that I made onto the top of my home. And now this dollhouse came with these two little dolls that I'm going to go ahead and use for this house. I'm just going to make sure I hot glue them together, and then I'm going to glue them right onto the front door. And I left them pink because I feel like everything about them was just super creepy. Okay, and now that I'm done, this is how the stuff looks on their own before I put them on my table setup. And this is my complete final setup. This is episode 4 and I am finally done with my whole table. Everything you see here, we completely made it in episodes 1, 2, and 3. Let me tell you guys how happy and excited I am that I was able to make all these fake bakes to be able to keep my table looking full and cute the whole Halloween season. So don't forget to go ahead and watch those. I'll leave them linked at the end of the screen or I'll leave them linked in the description box. And I am in complete awe of this table setup. I'm literally having no words for how cute and amazing this turned out because I really did put so much time and effort into creating these things. Crafting, DIY, and baking, all those things really do bring joy. And those of us who craft and all those extra things, we truly are just happier in life because after doing all that hard work and thinking, we finally get to see our creations come to life. And if you agree with that statement, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. So I really hope you enjoyed this and you learned something from this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment box down below. And I hope you guys like and share and subscribe to get notified every single time I post a new video. And like always, thank you guys for watching.